see how they hold up. Welcome back to the channel. So this is the time of year where I start switching all my stuff over to shooting broadheads pretty much exclusively. I probably should have done this a little sooner, but I'm not gonna go on a hunt for about a month. So this gives me plenty of time to really practice with broadheads, make sure my bow is absolutely tuned up. And I asked you guys on Instagram, which broadheads did you wanna see me test and review this year? So I picked out 5 mechanicals, which is the video today, and 5 fixed blades, which is going to be a later video coming up hopefully next week. I have used some of these, like I have used these Sevr broadheads before, but I have not used these other 4 broadheads that I have in front of me. But I plan on at least hunting with all of them and hopefully harvesting or killing something with all of them, whether it be an elk, deer, pig, whatever. But that's my goal, is to shoot something with each one of these this year and give you guys an honest feedback at the end of the season on how these broadheads actually performed out in the field, because it's all well and good, do they perform out here in your backyard, are they hitting the target, but you want to know how they actually work on an animal. And until I actually go hunting with them, I can't give you that opinion, but I can go over all these broadheads and all the specs on these broadheads and kind of give you an idea of them. So we'll start over here. I have the Evolution Outdoors. These are the Hydes. These are going to be an actual, it's a cross, it's a hybrid. So it's kind of like part fixed blade, part mechanical. They are a front deploying broadhead, which I've shot before, and I really don't. I know rear deploying a lot of people really like, but I have no problems with those. Beast broadheads. These got a lot of attention this year. You know, Josh Bomar, whether you like him, whether you hate him, I think this is a really slick design broadhead. I'm really interested, and I really do want to shoot something with one of these because I think it's a really smart and slick idea. So we're going to see how it tests. We're going to see how it weighs out and how it compares to these other ones. The Swhackers. You guys love these. I got a ton of comments on the Swhackers. I've never shot Swhackers before, but I know people who personally have, and they absolutely love them. It's a little bit of a different design because the broadhead doesn't actually open up until it's inside of the cavity. So entry hole, maybe a little smaller, but exit hole could be way bigger. These are the Deadmeat V2s from G5. These are ones I'm going to be whitetail hunting with 100% this year. Again, I know a bunch of people who have used these, absolutely love them, and it is finally time that I got myself a pack and started shooting them. And then if you watch my whitetail video last year from the buck I shot up here on the wall, I shot that one with a Sevr. This is a 2.5 or a 2-inch cut rear deploying head. I really do like these, super slick design. So we're gonna go over all these. We're gonna pull them out of the packages. We're gonna weigh them for consistency's sake to see how consistent they are weighing. We're going to shoot them downrange, 70 yards, see how they group with field points. The bow I'm gonna be using is the Elite Exalt 35, the new bow that I just built on the channel. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It's a super awesome bow, shoots like a target bow. I'm gonna hunt with it. And that thing, the only thing I've done to it is shoot it through paper to get a bullet hole. I have not broadhead tuned it, so we're actually going to see how these broadheads, these mechanicals, fly compared to field points right out of the box. So if you're one of those people who I highly suggest you don't, but you just screw broadheads on because they fly like field points, we're gonna test that. We're gonna find that out. And then we're gonna go ahead and do what everyone likes to do, and we're gonna put these things through the ringer. We're gonna try to break them. We're gonna see how durable they are. And stay tuned. We're gonna see how they spin as well. So all these broadheads I have in front of me are 125 grains. It's just kind of the way I've migrated over the years. I've shot a lot of 125 grain broadheads. So I just continued to buy them because if everything in my quiver is the same, I don't really have to, you know, fuss around with sight tapes unless I'm changing arrow setup. So the only exception to that is the Swhackers, because I could not for the life of me find a 2-inch cut for a 125 grain Swhacker head. I don't even know if they make one. So this is the only one that's probably not gonna hit with the rest of them. It'll hit a little high because it's 25 grains lighter, but that shouldn't really skew the kind of what I'm going over. So let's go ahead and we'll get these out. We'll spin them. Let's first weigh them to make sure they come in consistently. Do these broadheads weigh the same out of the package? Do they weigh 125 grains? So let's go ahead and reset this camera. First ones we're gonna play with here are ones that I'm super excited. I am definitely going to use these. These are the ones I'm gonna take elk hunting this year because I think it's a really awesome design. It is a front deploying broadhead and it is a fixed blade at the front. So even if these things for some reason do not open, you're still going to get, it's like 3/4 of an inch here and 3/4 of an inch there. So you're almost gonna get about 1.5 inches of cutting diameter, even if this thing doesn't open at all. So let's go ahead and weigh them. Scale is at 0. First one, 128.2, so a little heavy. Second one, 128.8. Third one, 128.6. So they were within a half a grain of each other at a little bit heavy. So 128, probably 128 and a half is probably the median of them. These beast broadheads, they are claiming to be the world's sharpest mechanical. And if you've seen any of Josh Bomar's Instagram, he's definitely cut himself a couple times on these, and they are sharp. So I think these come in at $60 a piece for a pack, and you're gonna get 2 broadheads and a practice tip. So you can practice with this and not have to worry about dulling the blades on shooting them into your target. So you're looking at about $30 a blade or for a broadhead here. Again, I'm not too concerned on that price point, because if I buy an elk tag that costs $700, you know, and I've paid $1,000 in flights, rented a car, done whatever, drove across the country, I'm not going to try to skimp money on the sharp pointy thing in the end of the arrow that's going to do the killing for me. So I'm going to make sure I get the sharpest broadhead, whether it costs $30 or $130. I'm going to make sure I get something that's sharp. So let's open this package up. It comes with these little finger condoms to kind of put the broadheads and clip them back together, because like I said, Josh, I know I've seen on his Instagram, has cut himself a couple of times on these. So go ahead, and I again have slewed my finger up and had to get some stitches because I was dumb and cut my finger. So get something like this. All right, so let's go and weigh these now. This is the first one, scales at 0. We got 123.4, so a little bit lighter than that 125 advertised weight. We have our second broadhead, which is 122.6. So we're 7/10 of a grain difference between these 2 broadheads right now, and let's see where the practice tip comes in at. 124.0. We're going to go with these Deadmeat V5 next. This is the V2. This is the newer model. Again, comes with a practice tip, but comes with 3 broadheads and replacement collars. So here's the fun part. Try to cut your broadhead package open without cutting yourself. Get this practice tip out. Again, these should weigh 125 grains. So let's start with the practice tip. 125.2. So 125.4. So I like where this is going. Let's see if we can get these out. The first actual broadhead, 123.2. So lightest to heaviest. The next, call it 123. So again, light, then the 125 grain advertised, and 123. So these are within 2 grains of each other, all 3 of these. Super stoked about that. The practice head is just a little bit heavier than the actual broadheads themselves, but the fact that these are all within 2 grains of each other, very pleased with that. Like the consistency that they have. So you buy these individually from Sevr. So whether you want to buy 1, you want to buy 6, you want to buy 10, you can buy them individually. You do not have to buy an entire 3-pack, 4-pack, 6-pack, etc. Like I said, I have a couple different ones. These are the 2-inch cuts. I have some 1.5-inch cuts. I have some 2-inch cuts that are 100 grains. So it really depends on what you want. We'll pull this one out. 125 grains. It is 123.2, 123.4. The next one, 123.4. So consistency, these Sevrs have been very, very consistent from broadhead to broadhead. And last but least on this table, these are the Swhackers, 100 grain, 2-inch cutting diameter. These are the Levi Morgan ones, so they actually have the swept back blade, which intrigues me more than the straight blade. So let's pull these out and see what they look like. Comes in a nice little carrying case. That's pretty cool. But carrying case is not what's doing the killing. 3 broadheads. In the description, guys, I'm going to have each one of these broadheads, the price points, the weights on them. So if you miss it during the video, we're going to go back and touch on it again. Let's weigh these Swhacker broadheads now. This one doesn't have the band on it. I could put it on, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a weight difference. So let's weigh the first one. 101.2, 101.1, 101.1. Next. 102, so it is a grain difference. I don't know if that little thing weighs a grain, but it might. Let's see what this one weighs in at. 101.8, so these two were within 0.2 of a grain of each other, and this one was just a little bit lighter, so maybe that little weight thing does weigh, you know, a half a grain. Let's call it a half a grain. Consistency on these, pretty similar. All right, so let's go over the way that these mechanical blades actually work. We'll start with the Sevr right here in no particular order. But the Sevr is a rear deploying broadhead. There is a little O-ring on here that's going to keep these blades retained while they're in your quiver. I do know pushing these into the quiver, if you're not careful and pinch the back of the blade here, you can expand this too far and roll that O-ring off or cut it. I've done that in the past. They do come with extra O-rings inside the cap of your little case here, and then they come with an Allen tool because there is a set screw that you can actually screw into the center here and use your actual mechanical broadhead as a practice head. So you can screw this little set screw into here and it's going to prevent the blades from opening. So you can shoot this into your target, into your block target, into your foam target, and be able to shoot the actual broadhead you're going to shoot to make sure to have the pretty much the ultimate peace of mind. This O-ring, you would roll it off. And this is a rear deploying head, so get this off, I'll show you guys. As it goes in, it's going to penetrate, the blades are going to open, and this, what's cool about this Sevr design is that they actually open and the blades will lock. So they actually lock together here, they overlap each other. So the blades themselves can articulate side to side, so if you were to hit a rib, let's say on this side, as it's going in, it could push the blade to the side. Continue to cut as it hits and goes through material, it will straighten back out, and then on the other side, let's say it's going through another rib, it can push this one aside, and this one's still going to be open to cut. Again, I shot my whitetail with this and had pretty good blood trail. I had a blood trail for a little bit, but I was able to find him, and I was able to follow blood pretty much until I got to him. So these blades are pretty sharp. So the way a Swhacker broadhead works is these are actually these wings that are out, this is going to be in the closed position. These wings that are out front are actually a single bevel grind design, so it does have some cutting here and it will grab, but as it goes in and punctures in through the hide, it will then catch these wings, which will open up these blades, which the theory behind it is now that because it has then passed the hide, probably past the bone, and opens up, you have these virgin blades that are super sharp that haven't gone through any media on the way in, and so now it has perfect razor edge sharp cutting blades that's going to be going through the vitals and slicing it open. So it makes sense, the theory, and then on the exit side you're going to have this 2-inch cut diameter. You're going to punch this big hole out the backside and you're supposed to have a lot of blood. I've never shot anything with these. I know Levi shot everything up to pretty much a moose with these, and he swears by them, and he's probably one of the best archers in the world, so if he's going out and killing stuff with these, you know, probably a pretty good design. They have a little collar here to keep the blades locked in, at least right out of the package. In the package, they give you a couple extra collars. And I think these little green things are to go inside of the throat, inside of the ferrule here, and keep these blades in from rattling. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Again, I have not really shot these, so we're going to find out together today how we can make this into a practice head. But that is how a Swhacker works. This is the hide from Evolution Outdoors. Again, this is unlike the other 4 that are on this table, this is a hybrid. So it has a fixed blade front, so you're going to get cut on contact head here, and then it is going to turn into a mechanical, and open up. Now, these have a little something stuffed in here to keep these locked down. So we're actually just going to open this one up and show you. It does take some force to open it up, but when it opens up, it has a monster 2-inch cutting diameter, just like the rest of these. And it does have this swept back blade design, which I like. I think it's going to cut through things a little easier. If you've ever tried to cut straight down on something with a flat blade, it doesn't go through, but if you have a little bit of an angle to it, and with this swept back blade design, I think this is going to punch some pretty monster big holes. These are front deploying broadheads, so as it goes in, it's going to catch hide on either side, and they are sharp all the way to the tip, and it is going to peel it open as it enters until it is all the way extended, and then it'll have a 2-inch. Now, nothing is locking this back, but these blades do articulate individually from each other, and it's a pretty cool design. I'm pretty excited about it, so we're going to see how these perform this year. This is the Beast Broadhead by Josh Bomar. Now, this is a little different than the other two because these blades are actually spring-loaded. Whoa, that's a lot of tension. I have actually not felt these before this. That is a lot of tension. And they lock into place. Wow, that's a lot of tension. But same thing, just like the Sevr Broadhead, the front here, once you deploy these, let's see if we can deploy one without cutting my finger off. But a little bit of force, and they pop out. And these things are flying out. They're calling it 960 miles an hour or something like that. 940 miles an hour is the actual deployment speed of these blades, and after pressing on it, dude, I believe it. So they fly out. That's really cool. Super interested to shoot this one this year because I think this thing is going to wreak havoc if it holds up and it says it's as sharp as it says it is. This is the Deadmeat V2 from G5. Kind of the same principle. It's like a rear deploying head. Goes in, as it pushes in, these blades open. They come off of this locking collar on the back, and it opens up. And this is the only one of these which is an actual 3-blade expandable. Technically, the Hyde, you might want to call it a 2-blade with bleeder, a big bleeder on the front. It could theoretically be called a 4-blade, but this Deadmeat, these things, I've seen blood trails from these, and they are just absolutely insane. It's pretty sharp on the front, so all of these have a very sharp front, so poking hide should not be an issue, and you can fold these blades back up. Put this collar back on, and they lock into place. Now, they have some tension holding them in. I'm a little weary of plastic collars. I've had some on some Rages in the past not do so well for me. This one has a little bit of rattle. It's hard to hear in the video, but the blades do have a little bit of a rattle to them. They do give you replacement collars, so if your collars do become loose, you could probably replace them and tighten them up, but that's how each one of these 5 broadheads works. So let's go ahead and screw some of these onto some arrows. All right, so for the accuracy test, this is the G5 Deadmeat V2, first one. We're shooting at a piece of cardboard down there. It's like a 9x9-ish square at 70 yards. So we'll see how accurate these things are at 70 yards and see if they hit with field points. Field point. All right, let's go see how they group. Here's our cut. As you can see, all 3 blades opened up pretty much, it looks like, to the full extent that they could. Cutting here through cardboard, but that's pretty good. I don't know what the span is, but we'll measure it, and maybe that's how we'll keep track of which ones are better by which ones kind of group closer together. But at 70 yards, for me, that's well within the margin of error. All right, next up, we have the Sevr Titanium 2.0. Shot these ones in the past. Always been pretty happy with them, so see how it groups. Sevr 2.0. So we have a trend already. Both of the Broadheads have hit just a little bit left of my field points. So maybe I might be slightly out of tune and I might need to move my rest over or move the set on the limb pockets over a little bit. Sevr definitely pulls out of the target a little easier. Blades fold back. Blades are locked open. So that's nice. Just like the G5, opened up fully on deployment. It looks almost to be, maybe this one didn't open 75%, but this one definitely, the right side, I've definitely opened up all the way. So call it, I mean, I'm gonna call that full deployment. It's gonna leave you a pretty big cut. All right, next up, this is gonna be the Hyde by Evolution Outdoors. Field point control. All right, so here we go. This is the Hyde, this is the field point control. Might need to move my sight over just a little bit. Everything's been a little on the left side. Now obviously the blades have folded back in. When I pulled it out, they rolled back forward, but take it off, show you guys the cut here on the cardboard. This one might be a little harder to see, but we do have, it looks like the fixed blade was running this way, and then the north to south was the mechanical part of it, which had started to open. I wouldn't call it a full deployment through this cardboard, but it was definitely on its way there. You can see, push it through a little bit, protrude it. Definitely created a nice 4-hole opening, which is gonna punch a pretty good hole in the side of the Hyde. So that one flew again, hit the cardboard. I might be just a little bit left of this cardboard, but they're all right, this is the new Beast Broadhead, Josh Momar's design. Spring-loaded Broadhead. Field point control. All right, field point, the Beast Broadhead. Let's pull them out. Let's see if we can get this one out without filleting ourselves. Oh boy, that opened up a big cut. We're gonna have to push it out. Beast Broadhead, opened on impact, cut. I'd say the cut opened up probably 85% of the way there. Probably could have cut a little bit more. It looks like it clipped the top of the cardboard, so this bottom one probably could have opened up a little bit more, but we're just punching through cardboard, which is a very, it's not a real dense medium. All right, we have the Swhacker Levi Morgan edition with the swept-back blades. Field point control. I pulled that one left, so we're gonna shoot one more. But we're gonna get this one out of here because I totally screwed the pooch on that one. But this is gonna be our Swhacker, the Levi Morgan series edition with the swept-back blades. This is my field point. And this one is the Broadhead. So blades folded back in because we're pulling out of the target, but not too bad. Even if this thing doesn't open for whatever reason, you still have like, looks like maybe 3/4, 7/8 of an inch cut, because these little ears that grab, they are still, they have a single bevel grind to them. So you're still gonna get something if for some odd reason this Broadhead doesn't actually open up, but see the cut on it. It's got a little bit. Again, these Swhackers are so hard to tell with entry entrances, because you're only punching, you know, this small hole that the ferrule is, and maybe, like I said, 7/8 of an inch, maybe 1 inch at the most across. But this exit hole should be large, and the theory behind them is that you have virgin blades going through, you know, all the vitals. So you're going to get razor sharp cuts. They aren't going to be dulled by hitting bone, by hitting hide, anything like that. So the theory behind it, I think it works. I mean, like I said, Levi's killed pretty much everything with these things. So but he's also a really good shooter. But I know other guys who I hunt with who shoot these, and they absolutely love them. All right, let's be honest. This is the part of the video you guys have been waiting on. I'm gonna shoot all these broadheads through this piece of 3/4 inch OSB. This is going to be the Evolution Outdoors Hyde. This is the hybrid. See how they hold up. Makes quite the pop. Also, just as a disclaimer, I purchased all these broadheads. Nobody sent me these broadheads. So I am willfully putting these through plywood, destroying them, and wasting them. So I'd really appreciate a subscription to the channel, a like. And if you want to see more content like this, please do that. Help support the channel, and then I can continue to buy stuff like this and do dumb stuff like this. So this is the Sevr Titanium 2.0, 125 grains. OSB. They're all going through. None of them have ricocheted. This is the Beast Broadhead. I'm pretty sure that one went through. This is the G5 Deadmeat 3-blade OSB test. Stuck right in the middle. And this is the Levi Morgan Swhacker versus OSB. Come up, you clearly see we only have 4 of them. I shot this Beast probably a little bit too close to this one, but they all definitely penetrated. Here's all these broadheads after they went through the OSB. The Beast broadhead, there's absolutely nothing wrong. This is the only one that actually penetrated through, but it could be because I softened up the plywood behind it because I shot it a little too close, so we'll take that into consideration. The hide looks good. I'm sure the blades opened. I think they just closed on impact. The Sevr blades opened, but they didn't open all the way, and they feel kind of locked into this position right here. I can't really move them. The G5 Deadmeat, we broke a blade off. I'm pretty sure these are replaceable, but we definitely broke one blade off attempting to go through this OSB. And the Levi Morgan Swhacker, definitely fully deployed. And again, it doesn't seem to be like anything's wrong with them, but let's get these back into the shop. We're gonna spin test them, see how they look after we shot them through this plywood. Spin it. I mean, it still spins really true. These Ultra arrows held up with the collar on the end of them. So, I mean, overall, I'd say it performed well through plywood. The Levi Morgan Swhackers, again, they fully deployed. One of these little ears is bent off to the side, but it did not affect the broadhead opening up. Spin it, still spins very true. Yeah, you could replace the blade, the one bent blade on this, or both of these blades, and you could probably shoot this one again, absolutely no problem through plywood. The Evolution Outdoors blades are in perfect condition. There is the tiniest little mark at the top. It's really hard to see on camera, but I can see just as it glimmers in the light, there's maybe just the slightest little indent. Still holds and still spins extremely true, no bending through the plywood. Definitely destroyed some fletchings, but these Ultra arrows, dude, they've held up really well too. The G5 Deadmeat, blades deployed. This is the one blade I was actually able to find it. It was in the back half of the plywood, and you can just see where it just kind of, it popped out. I wouldn't say the blade broke off as much as it just popped out of the ferrule itself, and I think these blades are replaceable. Don't quote me on that, but I think there might be some way you could slide this back in. But I don't want to cut myself because there is a bunch of junk stuffed up in there. But yeah, so the ferrule itself might have a little bend to it. Could be because one of the blades is missing and that's why it's wobbling a little bit, but not definitely would have done its job going through, and I view broadheads as one of those replaceable items. It's like a bullet once it leaves. I'm not too concerned about shooting them again because, again, it is the sharp pointy thing at the top of your arrow that is going to be doing the destruction. So I don't typically shoot broadheads over again, but is the Sevr 2.0. This one didn't fully deploy, and these blades are kind of locked where they're at. I'm pretty sure it's because there's plywood jammed up between the two of them, but if this were to go in, it would still do some damage. Not particularly too concerned. I could pry it open on the bench, and just prying it open, it was able to fully lock out. So it was, you know, maybe 7/8 of the way unlocked, but spin test on it. Ferrule is still straight. It is still spinning extremely true. So overall, shooting these things through plywood, no problem. Here's all 5 of our broadheads for a broadhead test video. At the end of the day, I would feel 100% confident taking any one of these 5 broadheads into the woods. I think they all did a great job. They, for the most part, retained their edge retention. This one got a little bit, maybe duller. The Sevrs, it's so hard to get these to cut hair. So the mega meat, or the dead meat, cutting hair. So overall, at the end of the day, all of these weighed within a grain of each other, which some of them were a little bit more accurate than others, which is, you know, I would like to see them all be, if in a perfect world, they'd all be identical. Price-wise, they all kind of fall into the same price category. For a mechanical broadhead, the mechanicals are broadheads that I'm really only ever going to shoot once. These broadheads themselves probably will never see the field. They'll just go in the bottom of the toolbox and just live there because, again, I can't stress it enough how important it is to have the front of your arrow when you're hunting to be the newest, sharpest thing that you can get, because it is the piece, it is the thing that is doing all the destruction and all the damage. So you want to have an extremely sharp broadhead on the end of it. Again, I don't think, I would feel 100% confident taking any one of these into the woods. So if one of these is the ones that you're going to take into the woods this year, I'd feel confident in it. I have no problems with any of them. I think after the testing, the one that I'm going to take elk hunting, the one that intrigues me the most, and the one that I think gives me the largest room for error, is the Evolution Outdoors Hyde. I like the fact that it is a fixed blade on the front with the mechanical. So at the end of the day, worst case scenario, I'm still getting a 4-blade cut. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a smaller hole, but it's not that much smaller than some of the 4-blade fixed blades out there. So when this does open up, it is going to have a massive wound channel. I'm really excited about this, and I get it that this is the only hybrid broadhead in the bunch here. There are other manufacturers, like Sevr does make a hybrid broadhead, but at the time when I purchased these to start making this video, it was not out on the market yet, I don't believe, and if it was, I just totally missed it. So, but again, these G5 dead meats, these are going to be in my quiver for whitetail. Evolution Hyde is going to be in my elk quiver, and then again, I'm going to probably have some of these beast broadheads for my second elk hunt or whitetail hunts around here, because I think these things are absolutely going to raise hell going through the cavity. But Levi Morgan Swhackers, all the Swhackers, they have a really good, you know, they have a really big fan base. They get used a lot. They kill a lot of animals a year. And the Sevr, same thing. They have a very large fan base. They shoot really well. None of these broadheads like completely failed any of these tests. They all weighed within a margin of error. They're all price pointed about the same. They all shot accurately out to 70 yards to hit a 7x8 square without even tuning the bow. So if you guys are in the market for any of these mechanical broadheads, I would feel confident taking any of these into the woods this year. So I hope this video helped you. If you like this video, again, I was not sponsored. None of these broadheads were sent to me, so I purchased all of these. I would appreciate a subscription to the channel. Hit that like button down below so we can bring more like this. And then I do have another series of fixed blades that I'm going to do because I know a lot of you guys have your opinions on fixed blades or mechanicals, especially in the elk woods. Me personally, I don't care what you shoot as long as you're accurate, because if you're accurate, you're going to hit what you want. And I get there's margin of error in hunting, but I want the thing that's going to punch the biggest hole, give me the biggest wound channel, and clip as many things going through that cavity as possible. So that's why I personally am going to be shooting mechanicals this year.